Okay, in our first video we talked about a quick way to clean up a firing pin assembly from a Borden Rimrock, Borden Alpine or Borden Timberline bolt. And by the way, this can be applied to Remington 700s, Rugers, Winchesters, etc. Similar process, just different tools. Today, in this video, we're going to take a look at a more detailed way to do that cleanup of the firing pin and spring, and the same method can be used actually to replace the spring in the bolt. So we take the bolt from the action or the rifle. We use a bolt disassembly tool available from Midway, Sinclair, or we sell them as well. Brownell sells them. This one's made by Ken Kleinendorf locally to us here, and it's for a Remington 700 because most of our bolts have the Remington 700 style shroud and cocking piece on it. Place the disassembly tool on the shroud, put the hook in the notch in the cocking cam, or in the cocking piece, and screw the firing pin assembly out of the bolt. Now you'll also need a firing pin disassembly tool. This one's a special one purchased through us that's specifically made for the Rimrock, Alpine and Timberline actions with a half 20 thread on the shrouds. Remingtons have a half 13, so a tool for a Remington will not work with ours. You insert through this side, crank the shroud in almost all the way, and then release the disassembly tool. And it's helpful to have a vise to hold the thing steady, and then a wrench, a 3/4 inch wrench, and you crank on the jacking screw. And what we're going to have to do here is take a look for the cross pin. Now, one side of the cross pin will be somewhat below the cocking piece, and the other one will be other side will be about flush. And you take a look at it, and this is the side it entered from. That's the big side. So we're going to use a 3/32 punch and a small hammer, and lightly tap the pin out. And sometimes the cocking piece will slide off, other times you'll need to use your punch in the notch and give it a tap to get it off the firing pin. Okay, now we back up the jacking screw. Unscrew the bolt shroud and pull the spring and firing pin out of the tool, and now use some brake cleaner alcohol to wash off the firing pin. Wipe it dry, and then use some Milcom or other synthetic fluid. You just need a couple of drops. Rub it into the firing pin, wipe it off, and then make sure that it slides freely through the shroud. Put your firing pin spring back on, slide the spring and the firing pin into the disassembly tool, screw the shroud back in, and then of course run the jacking screw in until you have enough of the hole so that you won't bang on the shroud when you're putting the pin in. And you can use the punch to line the hole up with the flats like this. Then slide the cocking piece on. Start to punch up through the hole in the bottom to hold the cocking piece and firing pin in alignment with each other. Put the 3/32 pin in. And it's key here that when you drive this home, that you have the cross pin below the surface of the cocking piece. It's just a touch shorter, and you'll check both sides to make sure so it does not drag against the inside of the shroud. Put your bolt disassembly tool back onto the shroud with the hook in the cocking piece. Relieve the jacking screw, and then screw the firing pin assembly back into the bolt. And if you want to clean up the action, you spray the inside of the action and the bolt body with something like gun scrub, brake clean, or something like that. But very important, now you need to re-lubricate it. So it just a touch of oil, burnished kind of into the bolt body, top and bottom of the lugs. Wipe it off. Do the same to the inside of the action, which I'm not going to show here. And then you're ready to rock and roll with a system that works nice and smoothly. And that's it for maintaining firing pin in one of our actions. Thank you.